Good evening, my dear friends. Let me begin with a simple question. How many of you wake up in the morning already feeling tired, not because of work, but because of worry? The alarm rings and before your feet touch the floor, your mind is already running deadlines, relationships, money, expectations, fear. Today, I want to share one simple understanding, just one, and if it truly settles in your heart, stress will slowly lose its power over your life. Let me start with a very simple observation. Most of us are not tired because we work too hard. We are tired because we worried too much. The body can handle work, but the mind struggles with unnecessary pressure. We lie down to sleep, yet the mind keeps running. We sit with our family, yet our thoughts are somewhere else. This constant noise inside is what we call stress. Now here is something very important to understand. Stress does not come from life itself. Stress comes from the way we interpret life. Two people face the same situation. One remains calm, the other panics. The situation did not change, the mindset did. Whenever something goes wrong, our mind automatically asks, why is this happening to me? This question sounds natural, but it is very dangerous. It pulls us into complaint mode. It makes us feel like victims. It gives us no solution, only sadness. Slowly, this question becomes a habit, and that habit becomes stress. There is another question we can ask, a far more powerful one. What can I do about this? The moment you ask this, your energy shifts. You move from helplessness to responsibility, from fear to clarity. Even if the situation is difficult, your mind becomes lighter because now it is focused on action, not anxiety. Here is a very simple truth that can change your life. If a problem has a solution, worrying is unnecessary. Just work on the solution. And if a problem has no solution, worrying is still unnecessary, because worry will not change the outcome. So in both cases, stress has no real value. It only steals your peace. Most of our stress comes from resisting reality. We keep saying, this should not have happened. People should be different. Life should be easier. But life does not work on our expectations. Life works on acceptance and response. When we accept what is, the mind relaxes. When we fight what is, the mind suffers. Calmness is not weakness. Calmness is clarity. A calm mind sees options. A stressed mind sees only problems. When your mind is peaceful, even challenges feel manageable. When your mind is disturbed, even small issues feel heavy. You cannot control everything that happens to you. That is life. But you can always control how you respond. That is wisdom. The moment you understand this, you stop wasting energy on things beyond your control and start investing energy in things that truly matter. Life will still have ups and downs. People will still disappoint you. Plans will still fail sometimes. But when your response is mature and your mind is trained, stress slowly loses its grip on you. So remember this one thing. Peace is not the absence of problems. Peace is the mastery of your response. Choose awareness over anxiety. Choose calm over chaos. And slowly, you will notice that stress no longer controls your life. You do. Let us take a moment and look honestly at our own lives. Most of the stress we experience does not come from what is happening right now, but from what might happen tomorrow, next week, or next year. The mind has a strange habit. It leaves the present moment, where life is actually happening, and travels into an imaginary future filled with fear. This imagination, when negative, becomes stress. We often believe that worrying shows we care. We think that if we stop worrying, something will go wrong. But worry does not protect us. It only exhausts us. Caring is useful. Thinking is useful. But worrying is neither. It is just the mind going in circles without direction. Whenever a challenge appears, the mind immediately wants certainty. It wants guarantees. But life does not give guarantees. Life gives opportunities to grow. Stress appears when we demand certainty from an uncertain world. Peace appears when we accept uncertainty with maturity. Think about this carefully. How many times have you worried about something that never actually happened? And even when something difficult did happen, worrying beforehand did not reduce the pain. It only made you suffer twice, once in your mind and once in reality. A calm mind does not mean a careless mind. A calm mind is an intelligent mind. It knows when to act and when to let go. It understands the difference between effort and obsession. Effort is healthy, obsession is stressful. Many of us try to control people, situations, and outcomes. When they do not behave according to our expectations, stress enters. But expectations are silent agreements we make with ourselves, not with life. When life breaks those agreements, we feel hurt. The solution is not to stop expecting completely, but to expect with flexibility. There is great freedom in understanding this. You are responsible for your actions, not for the results. Do your best with sincerity, and then learn to release the outcome. When you tie your happiness only to results, stress becomes constant. When you tie your happiness to effort and values, peace follows naturally. Another important thing to remember is that the mind needs training, just like the body. We do not expect a weak body to suddenly lift heavy weights without practice. Yet we expect an untrained mind to remain calm in every situation. Daily reflection, silence, gratitude, and awareness slowly strengthen the mind. Life will test you, that is certain. But every test is also a teacher. Stress appears when we see life as an enemy. Growth appears when we see life as a guide. When you stop fighting life and start flowing with it, something beautiful happens. You still face challenges, but they no longer break you. You bend, you learn, and you rise again stronger and calmer. So remind yourself every day, I cannot control everything, but I can control my response. And in that response lies my peace. Take a quiet moment and observe your mind. You will notice that the mind is rarely silent. Even when nothing is going wrong, it keeps searching for something to worry about. This is because the mind has been trained to react, not to respond. Reaction is instant and emotional. Response is thoughtful and calm. Stress is born in reaction. Peace is born in response. Many people believe that a peaceful life means a problem-free life. But such a life does not exist. Every stage of life brings its own challenges. When we were students, we worried about exams. When we started working, we worried about jobs. When we began earning, we worried about status. The objects of worry change, but the habit of worrying remains. This shows that stress is not connected to circumstances, it is connected to the mind. We often say, once this problem is solved, I will be happy. But when that problem is solved, another one takes its place. Happiness keeps getting postponed, peace keeps getting delayed. The truth is, if you do not learn how to remain calm now, no future situation will magically give you peace. The mind loves to replay the past and rehearse the future. It replays mistakes, regrets, and words that cannot be taken back. It rehearses failures that may never come. In doing so, it forgets the present moment, which is the only place where peace exists. Stress is simply the mind being in the wrong time zone. One powerful shift happens when we stop asking life to be easy and start asking ourselves to be strong. Strength does not mean aggression. Strength means stability. It means staying centered even when things around you are unstable. A stable mind does not deny emotions, but it does not drown in them either. Another cause of stress is comparison. We compare our behind-the-scenes life with someone else's highlight reel. We compare our struggles with someone else's success. This comparison creates pressure and dissatisfaction. But every person has a different journey, a different pace, and a different purpose. The moment you stop comparing, half of your stress disappears. Acceptance is not giving up. Acceptance is understanding reality clearly. When you accept what is, you stop wasting energy on resistance. That energy can then be used for growth, healing, and wise action. Resistance creates stress. Acceptance creates clarity. Silence is also a powerful medicine. When the world becomes too loud, the mind becomes confused. Spending a few moments each day in silence allows the mind to settle. In that stillness, you realize that many of the things you were stressed about were not as big as they seemed. Life will always move up and down like waves in the ocean. You cannot stop the waves, but you can learn how to surf. When you stop fighting every wave and start flowing with them, stress slowly loosens its grip. Remember, this peace is not something you find outside. It is something you build inside. And once that understanding becomes part of you, stress no longer controls your life. If you look closely at your stressful moments, you will notice one common pattern. The mind is either clinging to what it cannot keep or resisting what it cannot change. Stress lives in this gap between reality and expectation. The wider the gap, the heavier the stress. The moment you understand this, many worries start losing their strength. We often think that peace will come once life becomes stable. But life is not designed to be stable, it is designed to be dynamic. Relationships change, careers change, health changes, and circumstances change. Stress arises when we expect permanent comfort in a temporary world. Peace arises when we learn to stay balanced within change. The mind loves control. It wants everything to go according to plan. But life rarely follows our plans. When something unexpected happens, the mind panics. It starts creating stories, mostly negative ones. These stories feel real, even when they are not. Stress is often not about what happened, but about the story we tell ourselves about what happened. One of the most liberating realizations is this: you are not required to carry everything in your mind. You can do your duty sincerely, and then allow life to do the rest. When you try to carry the past, the present, and the future all at once, the mind collapses under the weight. Letting go is not weakness, it is wisdom. Many people confuse seriousness with sincerity. They believe that being stressed shows commitment. But sincerity is shown through focused action, not through constant worry. A calm person can be deeply committed. In fact, calmness improves performance. Stress clouds judgment, calmness sharpens it. Another source of stress is emotional dependency, placing the responsibility of our happiness in someone else's hands. When their behavior changes, our peace collapses. True strength comes when happiness is rooted inside, not outsourced to people or situations. When you stop demanding that others make you happy, relationships become lighter and more joyful. Gratitude is a powerful antidote to stress. The mind cannot be stressed and grateful at the same time. When you consciously notice what is going right, even in small ways, the mind relaxes. Gratitude does not deny difficulties. It gives you the strength to face them without breaking. Patience is also misunderstood. People think patience means waiting passively. In reality, patience means remaining calm while doing your best. It is trusting the process without being anxious about the timeline. Stress comes from wanting everything immediately. Peace comes from allowing things to unfold naturally. Every day, you are given a choice to respond with fear or to respond with awareness. Awareness slows the mind down. It creates space between stimulus and response. In that space, wisdom appears. When you stop trying to control life and start mastering yourself, stress gradually fades. Life may remain unpredictable, but your inner state becomes steady. And that steadiness becomes your greatest strength. If you observe carefully, you will realize that the mind is always in a hurry. It wants answers immediately, results instantly, and happiness permanently. Life, however, moves at its own pace. Stress is created when the speed of the mind is faster than the rhythm of life. When the mind slows down, peace naturally rises. We often think that thinking more will solve our problems. But there is a difference between thoughtful reflection and continuous overthinking. Reflection leads to clarity. Overthinking leads to confusion. A mind that keeps running without rest begins to imagine problems that do not exist and magnifies the ones that do. This constant mental noise drains energy and steals joy. Many people carry stress because they carry everything personally. Every word, every reaction, every delay feels like a personal attack. But not everything is about you. People act based on their own fears, conditioning, and struggles. When you stop taking everything personally, the heart becomes lighter and the mind becomes calmer. Another powerful cause of stress is attachment to outcomes. We work hard, which is good, but then we become emotionally attached to results. When results do not match expectations, disappointment appears. Effort is in your hands, outcomes are not always. When you focus on sincere effort and release the obsession with results, work becomes joyful and stress reduces. The mind also suffers when it keeps revisiting the past. Regret has a strange power. It makes us punish ourselves for what cannot be changed. Learning from the past is wisdom. Living in the past is suffering. The past is a place to visit, not a place to live. When you understand this, the present moment becomes lighter. Silence plays an important role in healing stress. In silence, the mind begins to settle. You start hearing your own thoughts clearly. Many worries lose their intensity when they are observed quietly rather than fought emotionally. A few minutes of silence each day can bring more clarity than hours of mental struggle. Faith in the process of life also reduces stress. This does not mean blind belief. It means trust that every experience carries a lesson. Even delays, failures, and losses shape inner strength. When you see life as a teacher instead of a punisher, fear slowly transforms into acceptance. Comparison is another silent stress creator. The moment you compare your journey with someone else's, peace disappears. Everyone has a different timeline, different challenges, and different responsibilities. The moment you focus on your own path with sincerity, stress reduces and contentment grows. Life will continue to surprise you. Some surprises will be pleasant, some will not. But when the mind is grounded, surprises do not shake you as much. You respond with balance instead of panic. So remember this simple truth: you cannot always choose what happens, but you can always choose how you respond. And when response comes from awareness rather than fear, stress slowly loses its hold and life begins to feel lighter and more meaningful. So my dear friends, remember this one thing: stress is optional, awareness is powerful, response is a choice. Life may not become easier, but you will become stronger. And when the mind is peaceful, even the storms feel manageable. Thank you for listening. Stay calm, stay aware, and choose peace every single day.